it's Red Kernel Crafts, and today I want to show you how I display my Disney pins, and I'm going to put one of the frames together so you can see how I do this. My friend Krista, who I met in Florida, had her pins displayed like this, and I think it's a brilliant idea. It's so cool. These are Shadowbox frames that you can get from IKEA. The brand is Riba, and this is the 9x9 inch frame with the mat. Obviously we're not using the mat, but I use these frames for quite a few things. I use them for these Disney pins. I use them to make a memory box for my mom after she passed away. And I use them to frame my children's book, so you can check out the link down below. I did a children's book about my daughter's peanut allergy. Okay, so here's our frame. The collection of pins that I have, this Tinkerbell one was the very first one I received. And I say I received it because the very first time I went to Disney World, Scott and I went to downtown Disney, and I helped a customer in the store, and one of the employees saw me do that, and he came over and gave me the Tinkerbell pin. So he said, you know, thanks for helping somebody, and I just thought that was really sweet. Then, of course, the first time we went to Disney World, I don't think I got that until I went with the kids, when we went with the kids to Disney World on April 15th, 2007. Then that was our first time to Epcot, and it happened to be the Flower and Garden Festival. Of course, I had to get the Mickey shape with the Canada flag. And then back then, Hollywood Studios was called MGM, so that was Mickey with the hat, which they no longer have the hat anymore, so I'm glad I have that. We used to go to the animation thing at that park all the time. I loved doing the drawing. And then, of course, I have 2007. To mark the year, I got this Mickey when we were at Animal Kingdom for the first time, and then the Star Wars events that they have, Halloween. This was probably New Year's because it has the fireworks. And then I have What in the World Will We Do Today, and that shows all 4 parks. And then this was a different festival that we went to, and it was the 32nd Festival of the Masters. So it was a whole bunch of Disney art that they had on display. Then I have a second frame, and this was obviously winter at Disney. I went back to the animation thing again, and then we went into 2008. We went to Epcot for Easter Day one year, and the kids got to collect some eggs. It was really cute. We went to Typhoon and Blizzard Beach. As you can see, there's a running theme with my pins. I love Mickey, and most of my pins are Mickey Mouse. We went on the Disney Wonder in May of 2008. I was actually on the ship for my 37th birthday, which was really cool. Went to Castaway Cay, then we went to the Halloween party again. I went with my friend Stacy. Her husband's a blogger, and they get to go to certain events. So this one was when they started the shop where you could design your own t-shirts, so we got the pin for that day. Christmas of 2009, Walt Disney Day 2009, and then 2010. And my flip-flop, my little chancleta, that was one of the last times I had gone to Disney when we lived there. With my friend Mariel, and she has the mini chancleta flip-flop, and I have the Mickey one. And then we met up again in, I believe it was 2011, and we did the same thing. She gets the mini pin, and I get the Mickey pin, and we always split the set, so we each have one. And then, of course, I have a little Mickey iPod, which is really cool. Bryn went down to Disney in 2016. She brought me back an Everest Pin. She went on Everest, and she was very happy about that. And then in 2011, we went on the inaugural voyage of the Disney Dream. It was the first year the ship had come out, so we each got a pin from that, or the kids and I did get a pin. So I can't remember whose was whose, but anyway, they were like, Mommy, you can just put them in your frame. So these were all Disney Dream pins. And then this was, this was Castaway Cay when we went that time. And then this was Donald Duck on the Aqueduct, which is the ride on the Dream. The way I go about doing this, if you have these little things on the back of a frame, just use a metal ruler to lift them up. You'll save your fingernails. So I just take this out. Whenever I have a picture frame, I always keep this somehow in the back, just so I, you know, years down the road, if I forget what type of frame it is, I have that inside. So this block is in here so that it is a shadow frame, so it makes everything stand back. Then I have this piece of black material. This is just a scrap that I've had that I used for the other frames. Now these frames are actually different with IKEA now. They now use a plastic piece instead of the glass, which I do like better. Less chance of breakage and makes it lighter. So what I'm going to do with this is I just lay this down and I cut around it. It's just all very rough the way I go about doing this. But I've had this piece of material in my supplies basically since I did the other frames. I just want to make sure I had the same material. And I think what I might do is just hang on to a little scrap of it so that if I end up filling another frame someday, I will have a sample of the material. Now, on my other frames, I have a piece of cork in the background to stick the pins in, but I have this at my house right now. And instead of going out and spending money, I don't need to. I'm just going to use this. This roll of cork has been in my craft closet for a while, and I'm just going to make a line down the side here. And every time I open my closet, it falls over and drives me crazy. So I was like, you know what? I just need to work on this project and get this done. And that's what I've been doing with projects lately. I'm just finally getting around to finishing things that I've started over the years and things that have been waiting to be done, like this frame. I mean, how many more years can I have this frame hanging empty on the wall? I'm going to use a tiny bit of glue. I have just a little bit of wood glue. What I'm going to do is put something heavy on this for a little while and press it down and let that set. So for this next part, I was concentrating and I didn't end up speaking, so I figured I better do a voiceover. So I ended up using 2 pieces of cork and just layered them on top of each other and let the glue sit overnight. Then I took this wooden part of the frame and just kind of used it as my guide as to what my space was to work with. And then I just started laying the pins down. I didn't poke them through yet. I was just laying them down and just trying to figure out the spacing of the pins. And I ended up setting this frame up to have 4 rows of pins instead of the 3 like I had done with the other frames, because we're not going to go to Disney as much as we used to when we lived there. So I allowed for a few more visits and pins. And then I poked them all down into the cork and through the material, and then I just gave the glass a little cleaning and then did one more straighten before I laid the glass down. And then I just put the frame over top of it and then flipped it over, and believe it or not, they stay still even when you flip them over and they're only being held in by the cork. It actually stays really good. And then I just pushed down all those little pegs again with the ruler. And there we go. So that is how I display my Disney pins. So I hope that helped you guys and gave you some ideas. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back with some more videos soon. Take care, guys. See ya.